All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, every year, students around the country, particularly this time of year, are faced with financial difficulties that threaten to hamper their tertiary education. Well, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, or NSFAS, is a South African government's student loan and bursary scheme, and it provides loans and bursaries to students at all 25 public varsities and 50 public FETs or TVET colleges throughout the country. Well, to tell us a little bit more about that now, we're joined from our Cape Town studios by Msulwa Daca. He's NSFAS's CEO. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning, Ayanda, and to the viewers.
Now, we do understand that funding has been increased from 3 billion to 9 billion over the past few years to try and accommodate the influx of students who are looking for financial assistance. What do you have to say about whether or not this is enough to meet the demand?
As you mentioned, Ayanda, there has been a substantial increase in the amount of financial aid provision by the state. This is a substantial increase in the number of students that were able to fund. We are predicting that we'll be funding about 430,000 students in 2015. Just more than 220,000 at FET colleges and about 200,000 at universities, and that's a lot of students that will be able to fund. There may still be a residual number of students that will not be funded by NSFAS, but there is also other schemes that are run by other government departments that also assist in funding students. For instance, in the health sciences fraternity, the Department of Health also runs bursaries for students in that area. We are also putting more effort to ensure that funding goes to the deserving students. We want to make sure that there is no diversion of the amount of money that is available. And that's an effort that we think is worth it, so that the money that is there, we can safely say that it is put to good use.
Just speak to us about the criteria now. Who are those deserving students and how do they qualify? There's two main criteria, Ayanda. One is the financial need. Students must demonstrate that they come from families that will not be able to afford, and that is done through a tool that we have developed called the means test. The other one is, of course, these are student loans. We want to make sure that we fund students that have got the ability and the dedication to succeed in the system. We then continue to fund only students that make the minimum criteria through the system. If students don't make the academic requirements, they are dropped by the scheme, because the scheme is for students that are dedicated and want to continue and complete their studies. Is it too late for deserving students to apply for funding for 2015?
Most of the time it's too late. Most of the students have already applied. I think in most instances, students are just waiting for the outcome of their applications now. We have various universities are already communicating to the students. Also, NSFAS, with its own central run system, will start communicating to students from next week onwards as they come back from home to campuses. Some universities are only opening in February. Then there is no need to panic in terms of the communication timelines. As students, the plan this year is as students come into campus, they should be able to get the result of whether they have been funded. And for returning students, in terms of those that are applying directly to NSFAS, returning students, were already communicating to them that they have passed and therefore will continue to fund them.
All right, we have about 10 seconds left in this interview. Have you sorted out some of the administrative bungles that you as an organization have experienced that led to the student protests last year and allegations of corruption?
One of the things that we've done this year is to communicate effectively. We have communicated effectively between ourselves, the universities, the students, and the sector in general, to make sure that everyone knows what they have to do when they go to campus. And that's one of the things that we've done. The department has also called for a system-wide forensic investigation, which we have fully supported, so that we can be able to say that all the money that is in the system goes to the most deserving of students.
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Msulwa Daca is NSFAS's CEO, and of course the Democratic Alliance having pledged to write to the Minister of Higher Education and Training, Dr. Bladen Nzimande, requesting immediate emergency funding from Treasury to aid the National Student Financial Aid Scheme for particularly the first-year students. So that's the latest developments when it comes to this particular